when you look at individuals, right, I mean, their interests are very varied and you never know what strikes their passion, right? So if you have a singular approach towards innovation, or if you have a single model towards doing something, then pretty much there are possibilities that a few of them won't connect to those. But if you need a wider participation, I think events like this, which include a bit of gaming, sports, and that kind of brings the energy level up in the system, and that motivates people to be more participative. And then when they are participative, I think this is contagious. Kind of people, get inspired by each other, and we get to have much more innovative environment, as I would call it, than, let's say, doing it in a very small department-wise or a team-wise approach. That we have seen also happening in multiple occasions for us as well. Well, again, coming back to this, the trend today is, of course, to go on the E mode, right? I mean, there is a lot of benefit going that way as well, because the amount of engagement and participation will be higher compared to, let's say, on-field activities where people sometimes are limited by capabilities, the fitness levels, for example, to be able to really do that rigor. So that kind of puts people away. They tell, oh, it's not my cup of tea, or I cannot do that. And so you will again find people to be a bit more selective in what they want to do. So having these e-events, I think, is a very good one, because then it sort of removes the platform or discrepancies in the platform where you kind of select the more able versus the disabled, or the person who is not able to do things. So you get a wider participation, and also, I mean, using the e-way, it's much more simpler to organize things. So the logistic part of it becomes much more simpler to manage. So of course, as we scale up year on year, we do improvements, right? I think we can start to include more and more field activities, but then it's a good way to start with a bulk of e-activities, which can bring together people and drive certain point together. When a corporation looks at people, it looks at the people as a complete package. It's about what value system they come with, what's their thought process, what's their approach, and of course the technology, depth of technology in which they would like to work with. So we need all kinds of people. We need people who are entrepreneurial, for example, who can launch new ideas, who can kind of change the status quo, challenge the status quo. But also we need people who can drive efficiency into existing processes, which is much more rigor-based, right? So there's no one answer to that, but then it also depends on the scenario in which we are trying to attract people. When you are an individual, there is a basic expectation of a certain level of technology depth, which you have in a certain domain, right? Where you are primarily focusing on. That's a very important aspect. But what happens is that is still an individual at the end of the day. It's about me and my knowledge base and my experience and my expertise. Today in industry, it is not enough. So what these kind of events help us is to give us an opportunity to work with different kinds of people. When you do a hackathon, you sit with few others and you deliberate and discuss, and then you calibrate yourself. Okay, am I too fast? Am I too slow? Is it really covering all the risks? And so that is where I think these kind of events, first of all, organizing these kind of events itself is a big organizational skill. To put it, I mean, if the event of 4 days goes through without an incident, I mean, that's a major effort in itself for the organizing team. But even for the participants, if they have to come together and in the short period of time come up with ideas, solve problems, or even present their work, it needs a totally different level of preparation. So one is not offsetting the other, it's actually complementing. So we need both. We need events to kind of help people summarize, regroup, and come forward with a proposal. We also need individual deep dives to kind of get into the depth of the technologies.